Dr. Yenny, from my perspective in the 20th century, pioneered a renewed awareness of a powerful relationship that I know that you all are aware of here because you've been told. And I'm going to offer this now so that you may witness and know it here and actually feel what it is that this relationship is offering to us. And it's the relationship between vibration and matter. What Dr. Yenny did was essentially pump vibration into a media. Sometimes he would use a powdered media, such as a lycopodium, which is the spore of a mugwort plant. Perfectly spherical, low surface tension, beautiful patterns. Sometimes he would pump those frequencies into a liquid, and that's what we're going to witness here today. This is a water droplet that you're going to see, and in this water droplet, a frequency is being pumped into this water droplet. As the frequency is mirrored in the droplet, you'll actually see the geometric patterns in that droplet. Now what's happening, and the reason that this is so significant, is because we're going to do a frequency sweep. We're going to go from low frequencies to higher frequencies. And what you'll find is this. You'll see that in the lower frequencies, the patterns are less complex. And in the higher frequency, the patterns are more complex. So we're going through a sweep from lower to higher frequency. I'm sharing this with you now because Earth is essentially going through a frequency sweep. Our fundamental pulse, our base pulse that has hovered around 7.8 cycles per second now is changing. And again, there's a lot of controversy about what the change is, and we're witnessing the change. As we go through our planetary shift of this pulse, patterns of energy must change to respond to that, just as patterns of energy in this water are changing to respond to this pulse. And we'll begin with simply the concentric patterns in the water. As the frequency begins, every once in a while we'll reach a key threshold resonance, such as that moment right there. And in that key threshold resonance, the entire pattern morphed into a more complex expression of itself, simply because the frequency changed. Now watch what happens. The frequency is still increasing. And watch what happens. As we reach another key threshold resonance, this entire pattern will morph into a beautifully and more complex pattern of itself. Again and again. And look at this pattern right here. Look what you're seeing right here. Look at the beautiful geometry. Here is a perfect cube. There's a perfect tetrahedron, a star tetrahedron. In 2 dimensions, we've got the octahedron. Very powerful images of sacred geometry held in place simply because we've achieved the vibratory pattern that allows that in this water droplet. And as the vibration increases, these patterns will become more and more complex. You can see the pulse from where you are. Can you see the pulse actually in the water? As we go into the last set of the frequencies, what you'll see is that the entire, and you'll watch along the outer perimeter, the entire pattern reaches its greatest level of complexity, and then it goes back, as the frequencies drop, it goes back to what it was, the concentric circles, as it was originally. It almost looks alive. You know, you've been offered many times the concept that thought is vibration. Have you ever considered that emotion is vibration? Feeling is vibration. We are always feeling something. We are always emoting something. We may not always be aware of what that is. We carry those patterns with us. As we hold a feeling and an emotion, what we're doing is we are holding a vibratory pattern in the liquid crystal of our bodies. What pattern do you hold in your body? What is your emotion? What is your feeling? Are you aware of it? Are you aware that as you change your emotion, you're changing those patterns in your body? There is a technology that was essentially lost to the West about 700 years ago in terms of how we regulate patterns of energy in our bodies. Emotion and feeling are patterns that have been largely ignored in the West. We have focused on thought. We've become a very mental society, which is a powerful path. And its consequence is that we must remember the balance to gracefully allow for the greatest potential of what logic may bring to us in our world. And that's why we're very slowly, we're approaching this. The technology comes into play when I ask you the question, do you know what feelings and how to respond to life to create very specific patterns in your bodies? Do we know that? Did anyone ever tell us that? There's a technology here, and it's a powerful, it is an empowering technology that we're about to share.